Hello! Congratulations, your initial design is done, and that's usually your home page and your about page, and it's ready for you to take a peek and provide some feedback. So you've gotten this great email in your inbox, and you've clicked this button for a quick tutorial on how to use the feedback board. But before we talk about the feedback board and that great process that's going to keep us connecting, communicating, and not losing any feedback and get you toward that dream website, we're actually going to talk a little bit about watching the walkthrough video and crafting that initial feedback. And once you've gotten that feedback pulled together, we're going to talk about putting it on the feedback board and how that process will work. So what I want to say to you is something that I say down here on recommendations is that don't watch your design walkthrough video until you're ready to sit in a quiet place and take some notes. And when I say take notes, that could be jotting them down in a notebook or a scrap piece of paper, or it could be opening up an official Microsoft Word document and putting your notes in there. So some recommendations for organizing your feedback so it's easier for you to get onto the feedback board and so that your thoughts are really concise. What you want to do, and I'm going to show you my actual sample feedback document, you're going to want to use some headers. I like to look at one page at a time and provide my feedback under that page, and then I actually use bullet points with action words. There's no please and thank you here. Just say change it, make it, add it, replace it. And so be concise and be specific, and this is really great feedback. Okay, so once you've watched through that video that first time and made your initial feedback, don't forget to, as you're watching and you're stopping to make some feedback, also stop that video. Don't let it run in the background. I might be asking you some questions or sharing some insight into why something is located in a certain spot or is in a certain font, and you don't want to miss those comments. So pause the video while you're making your notes. And then after you've watched the video once, walk away from it, come back and watch it again, and as you're watching it again, make some more notes. You'll see things that you didn't notice before in that first watch. So you're going to want to do that 1, 2, maybe 3 times. And then once you have all your feedback ready, just read through it, make sure it makes some sense. If there's something you had to follow up with, like this one, where you're going to email me a headshot, make sure that you actually do that piece, although I will follow up on you with you and ask you where that feedback is. So the next step will be that once you've watched the video, you're going to hop over to the portal. You're going to click your portal link right here, and you'll come to your login page and you'll log in. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, and here's my portal, and it probably looks a lot like your portal. You're going to click on the Projects tab. Make sure the proper project is selected, and here it'll be the web design one. Scroll down to Boards. You'll see our web design task boards, and if you remember, that's where you can just keep tabs on the general status of the project, what we're working on right this minute, and maybe if there's something on your plate that needs to happen, that'll be in here as well as things that I'm working on. What we're concerned about is this feedback board. So the first feedback board you'll get is called Feedback Home, and it'll say and about or and portfolio, whatever we decided was that other initial page we wanted to really finalize the design on. Okay, so in your feedback board, you'll actually see a few columns. The first column is called Questions from Belinda, and this is where there won't be anything in here when you come in here at first. This is where I actually come back and ask questions once you've provided feedback, but that will be in here. It'll be notes for me, and if I add any questions to that, I will email you and let you know they're out there. Now, there are columns for the pages that we're working on right now. And when we get to the full design, you'll get another board like this to provide feedback on, and there'll be a column for every page on the website for you to add feedback to. There's also this general feedback column, and that's for anything that doesn't really fit in here or here. Okay, so if you are ready to provide your feedback and you kept your feedback on a napkin or in a notebook and you need to type it all in here, you're going to hit this plus button. You're going to type in your feedback. You're going to say add gallery of art. And now if you click away from this, your comments will disappear and they'll be gone forever. The trick to getting your comments to save, add artwork gallery page, is that you must click the enter button. Now again, it looks like it didn't save, but this is a web page, and so web pages have a tendency to be static, and to get them to refresh and show new content, you just have to take an action. So if we click the plus button again, you'll see that indeed your comment was actually added. You don't need to click the plus button again to get it to add. This is just so that you can see that it's actually on there. So that's how you simply type in your feedback. Now, if you used a Word document like I did, what you can do is you can come in here, you can copy, and then go back to your portal and paste. Now, don't forget to press enter. Again, if you click away, your feedback will be gone. And if your feedback is copying over bullets or not copying over bullets, either of those is fine. So we're going to paste all my feedback in there. Okay, and now all of the feedback is in there, and at this stage what you'll do is you'll just send me an email and say, hey, I finished my feedback, it's ready for you to review. So now I will come in here, I'm going to take a look at your feedback, and I will start taking action and checking things off. If I have a question about any of these things, like this one, make my logo 50% larger, maybe I don't check that one off, because when I made your logo 50% larger, it made it blurry. So I might add a note over here that says, please provide a higher resolution file for your logo at a 50% ink. Logo is blurry. Okay. So now I've gone through everything. And maybe I also want to give you a note that says your Instagram but won't be activated until launch day. And the reason why is because you'll have to put in your username and password, and I'm big on keeping those things confidential. Oh, I must have forgotten to press enter. Yeah, oh no. Okay, there it is. Okay. And it actually did add the first time. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Okay. So at this stage, I'll email you and I'll say, hey, I went through all your feedback, I've made the changes, and I have some questions for you out on the board. Now, if I added just one question out here, I'll email you that question. If I added 10 questions, I'm just going to tell you, you have 10 questions out on the board, please check it out and respond to me, okay? And so when you respond, you can actually just put a note in here and say, Belinda, and write your note. Or you could come right in here and actually, I like to come over here and say update, that way I know something is. And then you can say, that's totally fine. And you can save it. And then you can check it off. We're good. Okay, and you can always, if you make an addition by mistake, you can just say delete. And so that's pretty much the process. It's pretty straightforward. We'll follow a very similar process when we go through your second design review. You'll get another board like this. It will say feedback full design. And instead of having columns for just the home and about page, it will have columns for every single page on your website to provide feedback to. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Make sure you do reread through that email really quickly in its entirety just to make sure you haven't missed anything important. All right, thanks so much.